Hello guys and welcome to the channel. Yes, Padre Beat out here. Today I want to show you how to actually mix a song, but this song has already been mixed by me, and even though I'm still trying to just fine tune it a bit, but then I think the mixing is done about 90 to 95%. So let's go into this video right away. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. More videos, more tutorials coming your way. So this is how the song sounds like without anything, without any mixing. So this is how the vocal sounds like.
Hey baby boy, why you send me love on a roller coaster? Going up and down, wrecking my composure. Tell me how you down, cause it's all too slow.
Okay, so I did the mixing and I'm going to show you bit by bit on how I did this mixing. So one of the things that's kind of shaking my CPU is because I actually recorded the beat I actually recorded the song on the beat that's on the file of the beat directly, so I wanted to have this feel of trying to mix the beat together with the song. So this is what I did with the song. First on my list, as you can see, I did my tuning, and this is it. I used the auto tune artist, and I have the tune speed to around 7. This tune speed will actually depend on what you actually want for the track. So I used the tune speed to around 7, and the flex tune is 0. The humanize is around 6.9. So that was all I did. As you can see, the key. So the next thing I did was to have a compressor, and I used the R comp from Waves. And as you can see, my threshold is around negative 16.8, and my ratio is around 1.94. That's automatically somewhere around 2.0. But then, anyhow, it works for you, but I'm just trying to show you. So this compressor will actually compress the focus before actually sending it into the equalizer, just to give it some bit of compression. And then my attack came a bit faster, just a bit, 9.44 somewhere, and the release is still in the middle. Okay, so the next thing I did was to use my FabFilter Pro EQ, and as you can see, I just played with the frequencies, and I heard where the frequencies were kind of trying to be much, and then I just, as you can see, I did some frequency. I had to look for some frequency. When I lift it somewhere like this and I find out the frequency is kind of harsh, I can bring it down, and so on and so forth. This was how I did the whole thing. So the next thing I did, I was to use my CLA just to have a bit of that analog compression. As you can see, my attack is somewhere around, let's use it around 2.9. That's around somewhere around 4. And then my release is still the same. My output is around 18, and my input is around 30. Okay, my ratio is around somewhere 4, and then that was what I did just to have a bit of that analog compression and that analog feel in the vocal. That was why I used the CLA 76. The next thing I did was to actually just use my NS1 stereo. That's my NS1 from Waves, to actually reduce those background noise, because the CLA 76 comes as an analog compression, and so it boosts some kind of noise, so I had to just bring them down with that. So the next thing I used was the Pre-Tech EQ, and then I hit my boost somewhere around on the low frequency, somewhere around 2, and then my frequency I lifted, because I always love the low frequency to be a bit much high. That's the frequency to be a bit much high, but the boosting not much. So I had to hit the attain to actually, as you can see, to actually balance the low frequency, not to allow the low frequency to really be that up, since it's a female vocal. So what I did was to hit my boost for the high frequency. That's for the low frequency here. For the high frequency here was to hit my boost to somewhere around 7. And then as you can see, the high frequency I boosted it to 16, and then my main frequency for everything here was around 60 Hz, because I love everything boosted very well. That's for me. And then the attempt cell is around 20. So that was what I did with this. So one of the things I did was to use my DSR. As you can see, I just negative 0.28, just to remove those harsh high frequencies that were coming in. That's possibly from the Pre-Tech EQ, and yes, whatever it is. So one of the things I did was to do my multi-band compression, and most of the times I don't really love doing the multi-band compression myself, because I just go to load and I come to I think I used the vocal, and I went to female dialogue, and I just hit female dialogue, and I noticed it actually gave me a lot of stuff there. You can actually use a lot of presets and get a lot of good answers from it. As you can see, it has boosted some of my frequencies, and the ones that I don't want, it has actually break them down. Yes, so the last thing I did was to have a limiter that will actually limit my vocal, not to actually because once you're done with once I'm done with most of the mixing, I do have some part of the vocal that is going up and some part of the vocal that are not really coming up, that are really down. So when I use the L1 limiter, I actually bring down the threshold down, and then the ceiling to a bit up, not really that down. So as you can see, this is negative 5.8, and for the ceiling is negative 5.1, just to at least give me a range for the vocal, not to actually go down, those places that are down to actually come up, and those places that are up to actually have a ceiling to actually stop at. So that was what I did for the mixing. And then the next thing I did was to have a channel for the delay, and as you can see, I route the channel for the delay, and then I came up with the time to around 4, and then I dropped down the high frequency just from the equalizer on the mixer channel in Fruity Loops. So, and I had to just from here, as you can see, I have a very, very low send. And then the next thing I did was to have a reverb, and I used reverb, the Valhalla Plate reverb. Once I loaded the Valhalla Plate reverb, I loved the Chrome, so I left it on the Chrome. And the next thing I did was to load a Fruity limiter below the Valhalla Plate reverb, and I sidechained it. I did the sidechain here, as you can see, it says sidechain 1. So what I did was to actually hit the threshold, and then the knee, as you can see, the threshold is very low, and the knee is kind of low too. Let's say somewhere here, and then the ratio is just low, somewhere around here. What I used this limiter for was to actually, the limiter will actually drop down my volume, my reverb when she's talking or when she's singing. But the moment the singing goes off, the limiter will allow the reverb to actually come up. So that's the reason why I did this. And as you can see, I had to just bring down the low frequency and hit the mid frequency a bit while the high frequency is still there. So this is the result of what I have for you.
Hey baby boy, why you send me love on a roller coaster? Going up and down, wrecking my composure. Tell me are you down, cause it's all too slow. Why you stand me up just to let me down? I'm a tenant to fight it back. Hey baby boy, why you send me love on a roller coaster? Going up and down, wrecking my composure. Tell me are you down?
You notice once she's done with singing, the volume comes up, and when she's singing, the volume for the reverb goes down, but once she's done singing, the reverb goes up.
Hey baby boy, why you send me love on a roller coaster? Going up and down, wrecking my composure. Tell me are you down, cause it's all too slow. Why you stand me up just to let me down? I'm a tenant to fight it back for love. I'll give you whatever
So this is all I have for you. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. More videos and more tutorials coming your way. Thank you.
Hey baby boy, why you send me love?